Look at that. Mamacita.
I don't know if that's gonna measure, Troy.
Measure 1,000
Well,
bucks.
is it, hey, is it a pinch tail or a spread tail? Wow, that is a monster redfish.
Today's Sportsman's adventures begins at sunrise in the beautiful backcountry of Florida's famous Mosquito Lagoon. Captain Rick Murphy and our special guest, Captain Scott Guthrie, will share the boat today with one of Florida's top fishing guides, Captain Tony Perez. We'll spend this picture-perfect August day sightcasting for the big redfish that have made this area famous. This is one of the last unspoiled areas on the state's east coast, lying just within the boundaries of the Cape Canaveral Seashore and the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. On calm mornings like this, it's easy to spot the schools of fish, their fins skimming the surface as they forage for food over acres and acres of lush manatee grass. When these three professional redfish tournament anglers get together, of course, the morning also has to begin with a friendly wager on the first fish caught.
You see them finning like this, they're real happy. This is when they're finning like this is the best. This is when you catch them. I knew I saw some tails close. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That one looks like the cast.
Oh, Perez.
No, this looks like 1,000.
The 1,000. The only hope I have in order to win this $1,000 bet for the first fish
Is to knock mine off.
no, is that I get a bite and catch him before you get yours in.
That ain't gonna happen.
Maybe I get a 3-pound rat.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, you got a boiler. No, we ain't talking catfish now.
We are talking about the big Space Coast
I wonder
redfish.
why my fish is running left. Maybe I got a catfish. Nope.
Fish are upright, Ricky.
I tell you what I
Where
can
are
do
they?
for you guys. I'll help you out. I'll go towards the fish while I fight the fish back here.
Oh, he truly is a sportsman. Truly is a sportsman. I tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna leave your fish and go over here and try to catch one. Now, you know, the thing that's so neat about this, Troy, is that even though you and I fish against each other in these professional redfish tournaments, it's neat to be able to have 3 different guys from 3 different regions. You know, Scotty's from the Northeast, the Jacksonville, St. Augustine area. With me being from, where you're talking about a place where they got 8-foot tides. You know, I mean, one minute you're fishing on top of oyster bars with this much water on them, and then the next minute, you know, because the tide falls or comes in, you know, in 15 minutes it'll drop 3 inches. You're bone dry and stuck, you know. So it's a neat situation to be able to compare your fishery here, where we're not even talking about tides, versus what we have in Key Largo, where in the Everglades National Park, where we have silty bottom with grass like you guys have. You guys have some white sand spots here. It's just a neat deal to be able to talk about when we're sitting at lunch at the barbecue place. A lot of times we're sitting there talking about how you guys approach certain fishing situations versus the way we approach the same fishing situation, you know? And I think that's where you really learn about how to fish.
Oh yeah, because I mean, I'm at a huge disadvantage on the tides, but I do get on the low tides like in Jacksonville. But the high tide, man, I'm lost.
Well, guess what? You're not alone.
Yeah,
because
if you catch fish on high tide there, really, it's a bonus, really.
It is.
Yeah.
It is for me. Me and Christine, we sit down and eat lunch. Because I mean, we have to catch our fish at low tide. It's pretty much shot for us.
Yeah.
And you know, and then all the other places pretty much. The Keys is similar to our place. It's kind of like
a poling fishery, which is what you do.
Yep, exactly. And the tides aren't that bad, so I don't have that too much problem there. But even on the West Coast is got some pretty good tides there, and I got to watch out for stuff there.
You know, but also fishing techniques, like whether you're throwing a live shrimp like we're doing here, or you're throwing soft plastics, being able to look at fish's moods. We talk about happy fish versus fish that are not happy. They're a little upset, they're rumbling, they're pushing, their heads are down. You know, these are little things that years of experience you develop over the time of year, you know. And so I really love sitting down in the parking lot, going looking at the maps, you know, even if we're in another state, you know, in these professional redfish tournaments, being able to talk about, you know, how you finding fish and whatnot. That's what I really enjoy, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just totally different kind of fishing other places.
You know, here, another good example is that here, Scotty has had all these top 5 and top 10 finishes. I mean, lots of them in Louisiana. How do you explain that? A guy from Jacksonville, you know? But basically, he understands that fishery. He understands by looking at an aerial photo of a place. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. Boga, you got it already. Boga. You know? And that's one of the reasons why I paired up with him this year, is because there's no doubt, you know, that he understands what he understands. Look at that. Mamacita.
I don't know if that's gonna measure, Troy.
Measure $1,000.
Is it is it a pinch tail or a spread tail?
Wow, that is a monster redfish.
Nice.
What's he weigh, Scotty?
No. This fish
16.
will go, no way, 20 on the nose.
I didn't get to touch it.
Either way, Murphy needs to make that check out too.
No check, it's cash, man.
Oh yeah, I just did cash.
Yeah. Hey,
I'll have that when we're done.
well done. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. You'll have it by day's end. Oh, the little redfish.
Typical Indian River.
No, this is a typical Rick Murphy trying to catch a fish in a tournament. This is what I catch right here.
Sportsman's Adventures is brought to you by Florida, the fishing capital of the world. YAMAHA, when you want the best. Rapala, your best shot at a world record. Rapala Line, premium fishing line crafted from experience. Maverick, fish the legend. Minn Kota, anywhere, anytime. Humminbird, simply, clearly, better.
Almost 1,200 miles of coastline, 12,000 miles of rivers and streams, nearly 8,000 lakes over 10 acres, over 700 world records, and 3.4 million anglers a year. In fact, anglers outnumber golfers 2 to 1. Whether you're casting a plug along the shore or trolling the blue waters of the Gulf Stream, you're enjoying a vast outdoor resource. Relax, get closer to nature, and spend time with friends and family. Go fishing right here in the fishing capital of the world.
Yamaha's Big Block V6 4-strokes. Everything you want when you're miles offshore. Everything and more. Up to 250 ocean-conquering horses. More than enough top-end muscle to move the big boats. Yamaha turn-the-key reliability translates to confident starts. Quiet, clean-burning performance. Smooth, powerful acceleration and cruise all-day fuel efficiency. Yamaha. Reliability starts here.
You know, I fish all over the world and over 300 days a year on the water. And as a matter of fact, I spend more time on the water than on dry land. If it swims in salt water, I catch it. Out here, where the fish are big and mean, your lures really take a beating. To survive, they must be tougher than the fish you're backcountry to blue water, my choice in lures is simple. All over the world, big fish eat little fish that swim like a rapala.
It takes a little more to make it out here. It's about guts, standing up to the elements, and quietly doing the job when others have long gone home. It takes Riptide, the toughest, most corrosion-resistant trolling motor ever built. When your reputation's on the line, hang it on Riptide, only from Minn Kota.
I fish tournaments to win, period. And my boat helps me do that. I gotta run longer, faster, harder than anyone else, day after day, every day. My Hughes is designed by anglers that actually build boats to do that. These guys are driven. If they can satisfy my needs, they can satisfy yours. So, who's gonna build your next gift?
Maverick, Hughes, Pathfinder, flat skiffs, tunnel skiffs, and bay boats. Maverick Boat Company, angler driven. Rick has traveled from his home in South Florida, and Scott has made the trip from his home in Jacksonville to meet here with Captain Tony Perez. Tony is a Florida native who grew up fishing the waters of East Central Florida. He's been a professional fishing guide for nearly 20 years and specializes in light tackle angling on the Indian and Banana Rivers, as well as the Mosquito Lagoon. Rick and Scott are fishing team partners on the popular Redfish Tour, traveling throughout the southern states, competing with the very best fishermen from all around the country. Based on their numerous tournament wins, Scott and Rick were awarded the prestigious 2005 Team of the Year. The Redfish is also one of Florida's best conservation stories. Nearly wiped out in the 70s and the 80s, the redfish stocks today are stronger than ever, thanks to strict regulations and good, sound fishery management.
Right next to him.
Like a jerkbait in the shallow.
This is a jack.
A giant red.
A jackfish. Oh, it's a little redfish.
This is a typical Indian River.
No, this is a typical Rick Murphy trying to catch a fish in a tournament. This is what I catch right here.
That's why I take you this far.
But I tell you, look at him, man. He is so cool. He looks like one of those trophies they give away. You know, those little wooden trophies?
Yeah, blue is good.
Yeah.
Wintertime, they really
So cool. There's mullet in here bigger than he is. But he's going to grow up to be somebody, I can tell you that. That is really cool. See this little groove right here? Maverick put them in there for a release, just slide him right off. It's like that little dog running board. Where are they, Troy? I don't even see them.
They're like 12, 30, way up there. 200 yards at least.
That's them?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going in them sand holes up there.
Troy! It's a stud. It's a stud. Stud in the making. The stud in the making. You know, it is so cool, Troy, to see those little fish. You know, because it just tells you that the future and the way the FWC is handling the fisheries, you know, managing the fisheries. The future of my kids and Scotty's and the next generation is gonna, you know what I mean? That's the fish they're gonna be catching and fishing in tournaments for, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Look, he is the size of the fish that's on my chest. Look.
This one might be a little bit bigger.
Oh. Well, man, I gotta grow then.
Well, this one, a couple more years, it'll be what we need in the tournament.
Exactly.
Of course, he might not eat that spoon again. He may remember what it's like.
Do you have any idea how fast a redfish grows? I mean, how old would you think that fish is? You know, all the stuff you've done with biologists and whatnot.
The big ones I used to tag, I never, these little ones right here, we never really caught too much when we tagged the smaller ones. We tagged them that small. But the big ones we tagged, they didn't seem to grow real fast once they got a certain size.
Well, let's get another
little
one.
Fish seem to grow pretty quick.
Yeah. You got him? Yep, there it is, Troy. The young guys, they fish that braided 4,000-pound test, ripping solid face completely off. And it's not about the joy of catching the fish and fighting the fish and subduing the fish.
The joy of the fish is standing at the weigh-in with a check.
Well, look, bass fishing him,
And he lifts
ripping
them
right over.
Lifts them in the boat. Grabs the leader and lifts him.
You know, a man ought to be beat for handling a redfish like that. If anybody out there was big enough.
A lot can happen when those fish are left on the line out there in the water.
Not if you know how to finesse them in.
Well, I don't.
I'm gonna let him go here. You ready? There he goes.
While you're down there.
Yeah, while you're
That's a better fish there, Troy.
That's a good one there. This Conservation Minute is brought to you by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission.
Coral reefs. They're among North America's greatest treasures, and they need your help. One of our most delicate habitats, Florida's coral reefs have been called the rainforests of the sea, in part because they are second only to tropical rainforests in the number of species that call them home. It's easy to hurt a coral. People do it unintentionally all the time. That's why the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, one of several agencies committed to preserving this important part of the ecosystem, wants to remind you that all Florida coral is protected. It cannot be collected, harvested, or sold. Don't touch it. Don't stand on it. Don't drag objects over living coral. Don't dump trash anywhere near a reef or anywhere else at sea for that matter. To enjoy this treasure, anchor your boat in a sandy area well away from the reef. For more information on this beautiful marine resource on Florida's southern coast, visit myfwc.com.
Contender boats. Take it to the limit. Wherever you find fishing tournament winners, you'll find contender boat owners. First to the fishing grounds, first to the winner's circle. When you look for strength, versatility, and ocean ability, you find contender boats. Hand-built, one by one, each and every one. Contender Boats is proud to introduce its new 23 Tournament Edition, the latest in true mid-sized offshore fishing rigs. Contender is committed to providing outstanding quality and performance. Nothing else delivers. Expect the most. Contender Boats. If you're a boater, you know it's required by law to carry at least one life jacket for every passenger on board. Maybe you're thinking, I can swim, I don't need a life jacket. Consider that the leading cause of death in boating accidents is drowning, even though 96% of fatality victims were reported as being able to swim. New inflatable models of life jackets can be worn as a waist pack on a belt. For more information about life jackets and boating safety, visit myfwc.com. And remember, safe boating is up to you.
Wouldn't it be great if you could snap on a lure and just go fishing? With something that looks like, and more importantly, swims like the real thing. With lures that come pre-rigged with the best components available. With baits designed by people who fish all over the world. But most importantly, you tie these on your line, you're going to catch some fish.
The new Humminbird 900 series will change the way you look at fishing. You get the extra dimension of 3D sonar, full chart plotting and GPS, and exclusive side imaging with a picture-like view of the bottom, all on an ultra-wide, high-definition display. The 900 series fishing system doesn't just perform on the water, it practically walks on it. Humminbird, simply, clearly better.
Yamaha's Big Block V6 4-strokes. Everything you want when you're miles offshore. Everything and more. Up to 250 ocean-conquering horses. More than enough top-end muscle to move the big boats. Yamaha turn-the-key reliability translates to confident starts. Quiet, clean-burning performance. Smooth, powerful acceleration and cruise all-day fuel efficiency. Yamaha. Reliability starts here.
Where else can you fish for over 50 species of game fish? Where have most world record fish been caught? Where are there more than 8,000 miles of coastline, 12,000 miles of rivers and streams, and 3 million acres of freshwater lakes and ponds? Florida, the fishing capital of the world. For more information, contact the commission office nearest you or go to myfwc.com.
Now, Troy, I want to ask you something. Somebody decides they want to get into this red fishing. What kind of advice would you give them? What should they do? What should they look for?
They should fish hard.
You know, do you recommend that they hire guides?
Yeah, I think.
And thieve all their guide spots?
Well,
because that's a sensitive topic. I mean, let's be realistic. Here you and I have been guiding for how many years? I've been guiding 26 years. You've probably been guiding close to 20. And the truth of the matter is, you know, a guy hires you to learn all your spots, but you can't expect him not to want to learn.
Yeah, but you tell, if you do that, you tell that guide that you're going to fish tournaments and you're going to fish the spots again.
Right.
You know, you don't say you're going to hire him and, you know, you better tell him, because then, you know, that'll be bad news.
So what do you think?
What I usually do, I pull out, you know, I hired one guide one time. It was actually a friend of mine. And the fish Jacksonville, because I couldn't figure out it, and he showed me how to fish it the way I like to fish it. Like when I went with him, he fished the way I fished.
Right.
He sight fished and he fly fished. I like most of the fly fishing guides all sight fish.
Right.
So that's how I learned. That's the way I like to pick them and do it. But I told him up front, I'm gonna fish your spots. You know, I don't want, you know. So I don't want him to get mad at me or nothing. So I told him I'd fish him only during the tournaments and stuff.
Okay, now let's say that a guy doesn't, you know, he doesn't feel right about hiring a guide. He's gone out, he's bought himself a new flats boat. And, you know, let's say that, what would you recommend to him? To get out here and just to start fishing hard, look for...
Yeah, I fish, you know,
for the red ball in the water, run till you see the fish. How do you think a guy should learn how to really map out an area?
Well, you get the map and you look. What I look at on most places, like I look at places where on a map I look on drop-offs, on edges and stuff. I usually fish edges, and I look for, you know, if you got tides and stuff, you know, when it gets higher, you go up closer to the shoreline and stuff.
Right.
And I kind of look like stuff like that, and I kind of get away from most of the people too.
Look him back, Scotty.
It's a nice fish.
Yeah, it is. What's he weigh?
He's about
6,
5.5.
Yeah.
What?
5.5 pounder?
Yeah, probably. I'd take him in a tournament in Jacksonville for sure.
Yeah. 4 of those?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
You know, the people need to understand that when we're tournament fishing, it's based on a 2-man team, 4 fish over a 2-day period. You get 2 fish a day, 1 per guy. And we're really trying to fish for fish that are between 18 and 27 inch with a pinch tail. So they got to understand that we're really looking for real fat, short fish, you know. All right, well, let's go catch another one. All right, man.
Look at all the other ones.
I didn't give up on him, Ricky.
I know you didn't. You never do. You never do.
A little better fish.
Yeah, he's a good one.
All right.
Now, Scotty, how did you, look at Troy, we're going to get a double header here. Scotty, how did you get into this red fishing?
I tell you, man, Rick, you know, I've been doing this as long as you guys, and I fell in love with doing this. I went fishing a tournament with a guy one time, redfish tournament. It was the first Mitzi skiff tournament.
Uh-huh.
We happened to win it, and since then,
Sorry, Troy.
All right.
I've tried to go fishing with as many of you guys who've been doing this for a long time, and just watch you guys, the way you approach these fish, try to learn why fish are where they are, and I've just fallen in love with it. And it's definitely...
You have definitely come a tremendous way, and I don't know if it's the passion that you have for it or whatever, but in the 3 years or 4 years of fishing, I know the first day that you and I fished together was in one of those ponds in Louisiana, and it was just because I was there pre-fishing by myself. and we went fishing, and you worked and raped a shoreline like I would do it. And I was really impressed at that time. And that's one of the reasons why we're together as a team, because when I have enough confidence that the guy that's standing on the front of the boat is as good or better than an ability to be able to catch the fish, you know, that makes my job easy to stay back there and make the decisions on what we got to do in order to be where we need to be in the tournament. Bring him over here, Troy. We might be able to get a double. I mean,
Oh, a double.
here, Scott. There's something right here.
Down there.
Yeah, while you're
That's a better fish there, Troy.
That's a good one there.
I was trying to pick out the fish.
Yeah, at 150 feet, you're trying to pick out the biggest one. Hey, you know, Troy, this has been just a wonderful day of fishing. I mean, here it is. We've caught I don't know how many fish. It's 10 minutes after 9. Slick, calm conditions, not too hot, a little bit overcast, in the month of August.
I'd like to have 2 of those as well early in the morning.
Redfish, red drum, channel bass. Call them what you want. They readily take a lure. They fight hard, and they're found throughout the state. This fish is one of Florida's greatest conservation success stories, and these 3 anglers are some of Florida's finest fishermen. Put them all together, and you have another great sportsman's adventure.